You are listening to the Bell Ringers podcast on Philly Sports Reports, brought to you by SeatGeek. Here are your hosts, Colin Daly and Benjamin Goldstein.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Bell Ringers podcast. Colin Daly and Benjamin Goldstein here. The MLB season for 2024 has come to an end, and we are looking ahead to the year 2025. That sounds really weird coming off the tongue, Ben. 2025? We're
Doesn't
halfway
sound
through the
right.
decade.
Doesn't sound. Ooh, that's crazy.
So by the time we are 22, we'll be celebrating 2030. That's crazy.
Oy.
That is a wild thought.
Yeah.
All right, well, it is the 1st of November. We've got a lot coming up here. We've got winter meetings are in a month or two. The World Series just ended. Spring training, it's really only about 3 months and a week or two away. It's not as far as we think.
We're 146 days from opening day.
Wow.
Start the countdown. I know everyone's counting the minutes.
Let me update my whiteboard over here. All right. There we go. We're good.
146.
Yeah,
I mean, time moves quick, and we're on season number 4 of the show.
Are we really?
We are. It's the season number 4.
Look at us go.
Yeah.
We are just balling here. Well, actually, someone wasn't balling. That was the Phillies in the postseason. I still haven't gotten over that yet. People bring it up all the time in school, and I'm like, nope, can't talk to you.
Yeah.
It's like
I mean,
I'm still. When was it? It was this Tuesday. This Tuesday. Someone brought it up, and I couldn't handle it. I had to walk away.
Here's my thing though. If Philadelphia is gonna lose, at least New York loses too.
Yeah, I agree. Makes us look worse that the team that clobbered us ended up getting taken out in the next round, but I couldn't see New York prevail. It would have killed me.
At least the Mets lost, the Yankees lost the World Series, so there is good in the world. Dodgers win, whatever,
Yeah, it's a good reminder. You're right.
Yeah, so if we're gonna lose, at least New York can go down with us. So there's just positive there.
All right, what were your takeaways from the World Series? I mean, just having it didn't last very long, for better or worse, but
it was very entertaining though. Game 1 with Freddie's walk-off grand slam was awesome. The Vin Scully stuff with Kirk Gibson and Joe Davis was awesome. That was cool to see. But I think my biggest takeaway really all came in the 5th inning of Game 5. Just how much playoff baseball can spiral. Judge drops that fly ball in center. It leads to an Anthony Volpe error. It leads to Garrett Cole not covering first base. It just kind of shows you how things can spiral so quickly in playoff baseball. Like, the Phillies haven't really had a big thing like that in their 3 years, like where they had one bad play and things just spiral off of that. Of course, if you want to go back to the 8th inning of Game 1 this year against the Mets, that was just poor pitching. No real bad play by the Phillies defense. But I mean, it's just like one bad play can set off an entire season. And it's crazy, like how quick things can spiral. Also, it is very painful to watch the death of an offense. Because watching
what that reminded me of? That inning from the Yankees. So that reminds me of the 9th inning, 2022 Wild Card Series. Ryan Helsley on the mound. Alec Boehm gets hit by a pitch. One of their infielders missed a ground ball, bobbled it, threw it to the wrong bag. Might have been Edman. I can't remember. I think he was their second baseman then. But when I was watching, that's what it reminded me of, the 2022 Wild Card. And since that point, the Cardinals couldn't get back on track. Like not even like just that series, their entire franchise. They haven't been good since then.
I mean, that set off that Phillies run. Like that inning, Phillies were dead until that inning, and then you see what they did after that. They made it to the World Series.
6 runs.
I'm wearing the hoodie.
The Gene Segura poke. I'll never forget it.
I miss Gene. An inning. What a game that was. What a season.
Really?
And, it's sad to think that may be the Phillies' last chance. It could be their best chance to win.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, Ben. There's been a lot of rumors during this offseason about potential players coming to Philadelphia. I don't want to talk about that yet. Let's focus on what's in-house, right? So we have go around the infield. We have JT Realmuto, who we saw on a pretty strong decline this season, offensively and defensively. It was said in the post-season interview with Rob Thompson and Dave Dombrowski that Realmuto's playing time is going to decrease in 2025. You have Bryce Harper, who is still performing on a very high level, but is getting older. His prime is on the back nine right now. Bryce inside at second base is a huge wild card for me because I don't think that his offense, if it doesn't improve, makes him a mediocre player at best. Um, at shortstop, Trey Turner. I mean, Turner was good this year, and I think he'll be good again next year. I still don't think he's the same player we saw in Los Angeles or Washington, D.C. So we'd love to see him get back there. I feel like he could be, in a sense, a wild card. Alec Boehm is really up in the air. Obviously, he had a career year in 2024, but I still think Alec Boehm gets traded. I think it makes a ton of sense for the Phillies. And I'm not going to go down that path right now because that's not what we're here to talk about, at least yet. But I think Alec Boehm gets traded, so that's a wild card. And then the outfield is a disaster, right? I mean, Castellanos was kind of all over the place this season. He started off as one of the worst right fielders in baseball, then managed to get like super, super average and kind of became the most consistent player on the team. But then you see Rojas, disaster. Austin Hayes, disaster. Brandon Marsh, going down every year. He starts off hot in March, April, a little bit of May, and then it just is a steady, steady decline throughout the rest of the season. Does that like make you nervous at all that what you said could be a reality? Phillies are trending in the wrong direction.
Well, I mean, if you look back at 09 to 11, they won the World Series in 08, lost it in 09, lost the NLCS in 10, and then NLDS in 11. Then they entered a massive rebuild until 2022. It was an 11-year rebuild of just bad average baseball. So, yes, it does scare me that, I don't think it's the same case because
No, I don't either.
this team is a lot younger than that 08 team was. There's still potential here. Like there's Trey Turner still like if in that 22 postseason, everyone was hot at the right time. It's about even in 23 up until game 6 of the NLCS where things just,
Yeah.
imploded. But if they need everyone to be right at the right time. You saw it with the Mets. They were all right at the right time until obviously the back end of the National League Championship Series. So, it's just like it's like weird. It's very weird because they have these guys aren't that old yet. Like who? The oldest player on the team is who? Like in their mid-30s. Like it's not horrible what they're working with. They got a lot of I mean, the quote daycare isn't that young anymore, but they're,
No.
entering their prime. Even though a few of them may not be on this team next year. I don't know. It's like it's very strange where the Phillies are at right now. Where do they go from here? I don't know. But we're gonna discuss that.
We will. So let's start with the one that I think's the most talked about right now, which is Yankees outfielder Juan Soto. Where do you stand with all that? Because I don't even know where to start.
Well, I mean, if you look at Soto's numbers, it's obviously nice in the postseason. Prior to, I believe, Game 5, I wrote this. Yeah. No, prior to Game 4, Soto hit 326 with a 1.095 OPS and 4 home runs in the postseason. In his second postseason, what he did with Washington as a 21-year-old was crazy. And now he's doing this with the Yankees at 26. Like he could be in the daycare, which is crazy to think about. And then this regular season, 288, 988 OPS, 41 homers, 109 RPIs. He got the Yankees to the World Series. He hit that game-winning homer in Game 5 in Cleveland in the 10th inning, 2-run home run. He was the guy hitting second for the Yankees. But like from a money because he's gonna get $550 million for a long time. I don't see the Phillies competing with the Mets and the Yankees for Juan Soto. It would fit awesome. Like they need a guy in the outfield that'll hit homers, drive and runs, always be consistent, and that's just what Juan Soto is. He's one of, if not the best hitter in baseball. I think the Phillies came out that they're expected to strongly pursue with him. That's just classic Scott Boras, throwing teams out there, increasing the market, trying to get his guy more money. It's just classic Boras stuff that won't happen. I think he stays in New York, whether that's the Mets or the Yankees, or if the Dodgers are really serious about it, which would be terrifying, but I don't see him leaving New York. But I would love him in Philadelphia. It's just not going to
happen. I agree with every single thing you just said there. There's no way he's coming to Philadelphia. It won't happen. I would make a huge bet that there's no way Juan Soto comes to Philadelphia. It's just not going to happen. The Phillies spent a boatload of money on Trey Turner, Bryce Harper back in 2019. God, who else? Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos. I just don't think that's the position they're in right now. I think they're in the position to draft well, develop the younger players on their team, sign extensions, and build up that core. And adding in a star player for that price, I don't think it would have the effect of a guy who's being paid that much money. I don't know if you follow what I'm saying, but when I think about a team that would sign Juan Soto, I think of a team who that could change the entire face of their franchise. Right? The Mets don't have that player right now. They don't have the guy whose face is getting put on the billboards, right? Because Pete Alonso's he's up in the air. I mean, I really don't think he's that great of a player, to tell you the truth.
Well, I mean, they do have Lindor.
They have Lindor. You're right.
They got Mr. Smiles.
They have Mr. Smiles, but
there's
my case.
Yeah, I think my thing with the Juan Soto thing, like Dave Dombrowski said in his end of season press conference, that they're not going out and getting a star player. Or, he said they're interested, but basically said it's not happening. If you look what they have, we mentioned it, what they have in-house already: Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos, Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola. They have the stars.
Yeah.
They have the guys that can go out there and win a World Series. They're just not doing
it.
That's you can't bring in a guy that's magically going to turn it around Juan Soto.
Yeah.
That's not how baseball works. And they have the talent. The roster needs some tweaks, but Juan Soto is not the answer. He's just not. Spending $600 million on a guy is not the answer that the Phillies need. Would it be great? Yes. Is it, makes sense from a financial and real baseball standpoint?
No.
So that's my stance.
Me too. All right, so then let's branch off of that a little bit. The outfield is a problem. What are you going to do with that?
Sign Juan Soto.
I wish.
No, I mean, Marsh is movable.
Yep.
Rojas is probably movable. Austin Hayes, I don't even know what you do with the guy. But the only guy I would like to see in our outfield next year that was here this year is Nick Castellanos. And I'm open to trading him as well, if it means getting a big, a real move maker. Who's available in the outfield? Kyle Tucker could be moved. He could be on the move. Like, I would love to see him in our outfield. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I know some guys have talked about some like veteran players, but what's that really doing? Like I've seen the Mark Canna thrown around. We saw the Jorge Soler got traded to Los Angeles in the last few days, but like what
Angels.
is that?
Angels.
Right, yeah, what is that doing for the Phillies? I
Well,
don't
I think
know.
the Phillies need a guy that'll drive in runs consistently.
Yeah.
Um, Especially in their outfield because they really don't have that. I mean, Nick Castellanos isn't chasing sliders down and away 24/7. He hasn't plate discipline. He's doing that, but he basically said he doesn't have any plate discipline like himself.
That was that was a funny interview. I mean, all of his interviews are funny, but
Yeah, I mean, he just goes out there and hits baseballs. Respect. I don't blame him. But like you kind of need a guy like that'll do that for you. And the infield is pretty much set. Like the infield won't change. Unless there's something at third base. I highly doubt it, but I won't be against it. Colin didn't like that.
it needs to change. I
But the
can't.
outfield will be changed. There will be a change in the outfield. Hopefully, it's a good one. Austin Hayes is
Yeah,
not the answer.
no, Austin Hayes is not the answer. I can see Brandon Marsh staying.
Yeah,
I can see Marsh staying. I don't think Castellanos gets moved, but I think they need another guy to man center field or left field, depending on where you put Marsh. Um, I hope they keep Rojas. I really want to see him play a full year in AAA because I think he is a. I think he's a good player. I still don't think he's major league ready. He doesn't look like he looks lost. And I feel like some time in AAA could solve that. His plate discipline is terrible. His
I
swings
mean,
are off balanced. He seems just overmatched every at bat I've seen.
I think he had a few good at bats in the postseason. Like the Phillies didn't have
He
many
did.
good
It
at bats
wasn't
in
as
the
bad as
postseason,
last year.
and Rojas had some good. He worked the walk. He got a couple hits. Like he wasn't. He was like maybe the best bat like in the lineup.
Well, I don't know about that. Harper was pretty good.
No,
Um,
he was maybe like he had the best. Rojas may have had the most best at bats in the postseason for the Phillies.
yeah, it's possible, but I want him to stay in the organization. I think he might not. I don't know if he's definitely the answer in
I mean,
permanently in center field, at
he
least for
he
2025.
Rojas has had a year and a half in the majors. Like, how old is Rojas? Like, he's like not young.
No, he's 23,
He's
24.
24. So I mean, it's not that he's not young, but he's not like he's not a kid. Like he's been around a year and a half in the major leagues. He's played in 2 postseasons. Like, is sending him down in AAA and then bringing him back up going to do anything?
I don't know, but
Like, I feel like if the Phillies were to do this, they would have done it 2 years ago.
well, they tried that and they couldn't, right? They tried it last year, but people got hurt. So I think that's why it ended up. He struggled so much. And I know he got better after he got recalled. Listen, there's two facets to this argument that I can see right now. The first one is they sent down Rojas after he was terrible, terrible at the beginning of the season. A week later, he was back in the major leagues because of injuries, and he became a serviceable player for the rest of the season, right? However, let's like my thinking there is that imagine if they had like he spent a few months in AAA. Could he become the star that some people expected in 2 years ago? Maybe. The other facet to that argument, though, is the idea of not bringing a player up right away is because they're not ready for major league pitching. But Johan Rojas has now spent 2 seasons in the major leagues. Something makes me think that, like, the best way to learn how to do something is by actually doing it. So, could he just be overmatched and that can't change? Like, those are the two things I'm trying to weigh right now, and I'm having trouble doing that.
Well, the Phillies will have him doing a off-season program to help his offense this offseason. Did they do that last year and nothing changed? Yeah. But, maybe something will happen this year. We'll see.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the bullpen now. We spent enough time yapping about the outfield. So they have Hoffman and Estevez are the two names of note right now.
Yeah, I mean, they both elected free agency yesterday.
Right.
And along with them, Spencer Turnbull also elected free agency. So,
Do you think there's any chance that either of them come back?
I think the Phillies will have to pick one.
Do you think they'll even get one?
I think if they want one, they'll have to pick one. And I think they'll pick Hoffman.
I think Hoffman's more likely to come back too.
Yeah, I think he's the more likely option. Is he the better option? I'm not sure. He's the most likely. He's had success. He's had a ton of success.
That's why. Yeah, I mean, if
He's
I'm
had a ton
Hoffman,
of
I
success.
don't want to leave Philadelphia.
Yeah, he's had a ton of success. Estevez may be a little paranoid from the grand slam he gave up to Lindor, which was not his fault. It was Hoffman's fault for loading the bases, but
It's awkward.
I mean, I think it'll be Hoffman. I don't know what his deal will look like, but
Hefty.
I hope it's not crazy because he has more to prove for me. He has to prove he can pitch in the postseason, which he did prove pretty well in 23, but in 24, where he was the top guy in the bullpen, he did
I
not.
mean, that was everybody
prove it.
though, right? I mean, no one
True.
really. Did anyone pitch well this postseason?
Orion
in the bullpen?
Kirkring was fine. He was okay.
Yeah.
Estevez, he gave up the cookie grand slam to Lindor, but I mean, other than that, I didn't hate what I saw from Estevez, whose name I guess I still can't say. I don't remember who else pitched well, but I don't know. Like, you can't revamp this bullpen. You can't You can't revamp the Phillies. Like, that's people want to do that. You can't retool in a year. That takes multiple years. And you are in your last year of Kyle Schwarber. How many years of great Bryce Harper do you have left? How many years of great Trey Turner do you have left? How much of Nick Castellanos are you really getting back? You have Bryson Stott, who's up in the air. What are you going to get at third base? This outfield is all over the place. Like, it's a team that could be retooled, but you can't retool because you're going to win now. So, trying to revamp things aren't going to work. You need some things tweaked, but the roster is the roster. Like, everybody will be back next year except for either Hoffman or Estevez. And maybe you'll get a new fifth starting pitcher, because if Taijuan Walker's in the starting rotation next year, I'm going to freak out.
Let's go there.
All right.
For the last few minutes of our podcast. So I didn't like what Dave had to say post game, or I keep saying post game. I'm so used to saying post game interview. Post season interview. That made me start twitching a little bit. I didn't like that. Why? Like, I get it. I do. Like, I understand why he's in the rotation, why they feel that he deserves to get these opportunities personally and financially, right? Because personally, I mean, yeah, it seems like he's a decent person. He has his little taco truck. That's kind of cute. And financially, they're giving him so much money. It's absurd. So, not really surprised that they want to keep pitching him. But
I don't know anything, but my guess is that he has one final shot in spring. If they like what they're seeing, he will be in the starting rotation. If they don't like what he's seeing, and Andrew Painter is ready, Andrew Painter will be in the starting rotation next opening day. If they don't like what they're seeing from Walker or Andrew Painter, they will go with Taijuan Walker. Or they re-sign Turnbull, and Turnbull will be in the starting rotation, and who knows what they do with Taijuan Walker.
what I think's tough for me right now is If this were happening the start of the 2026 season, I'd be a lot more confident in Painter getting the spot in the rotation because there's a huge difference, in my opinion, between eating $18 million and eating $36 million. Because that's where we stand right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Phillies are going to make $36 million like in the first 3 weeks. See all the ads they have around the stadium?
Well, I have. But you're right. Just, I don't know. We started talking about Taijuan Walker months ago, and I've never been able to take a strong side in the argument. I've written about Taijuan Walker more times than I can remember, and it always comes back to me not being able to make up my mind. I don't know, Ben. I really don't.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, he's a great guy. The guys
With
like
like
him.
relatively proven success, he was an all-star.
In the
It's crazy to say.
He's been great in the first half of the season, and in the second half, he's always been bad, which is why I didn't like
Right,
the signing when they made
consistently
it.
bad in the first half.
And
Sorry, consistently bad in the second half.
now he's bad in both. I mean, he's going to get a full spring. You give him a shot. If he is good in the first half and then does what he does in the second half next year, Andrew Painter could be ready. But
He could be.
you'll get a full spring of Taijuan Walker this year, barring any injuries. You didn't get that last year.
No.
So we'll see. I don't know. No matter what, I think Taijuan Walker will be in the starting rotation. And if it's bad, they'll make a move quick. Because the bullpen
I
thing's not
agree.
going to work.
Quickly. Yeah. All right, Ben.
Also,
Unfortunately.
quickly,
hold on. Yeah, quickly.
Rob Thompson got another extension.
Oh,
Now through the
yes.
2026 season. We haven't talked about the the after season stuff. We haven't talked since they lost. Topper got another extension. They're bringing back all the coaching staff, so they're putting it on the players. I like they're putting it on the players. I don't like giving Topper another extension.
Doesn't bother me too much. I'm okay with it. But I believe if they're going to put it on the players, which is the right decision, 1000%, it is the right decision. They need to show that by parting ways with somebody. I still think Alec Boehm, the number 217, I should put above my bed. 217 is his career batting average in the postseason. Doesn't matter how you perform in the regular season. The postseason is a new season. If you cannot perform when it matters, you don't have a spot on the team. That's how competitive teams are. Philly need to show that.
You should put up his batting average from like September through October. It was like 150.
Well, now I'm starting to debate, was it 217 or 227? I think it was 217.
Yeah,
I'll have to go back and check after
no matter
this
what, it's
episode.
pretty bad. It's like Garrett Stubbs.
True.
It's like Garrett Stubbs territory.
It is Garrett Stubbs territory. We love Garrett Stubbs, though.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have Marshawn on my team, but
Me too.
Whatever.
Okay.
All right. Before we get into another debate.
Yep.
Even though I think we both have the same opinion.
We do. Yeah.
Like, subscribe. At year 4 of the Bell Ringer podcast, Colin. Hopefully we'll be celebrating a World Series championship.
Oh wow, we're already getting into this, aren't we?
Hopefully. All right, we'll see you guys.
Foreshadowing in November.
Yeah, subtle
Thank
foreshadowing.
you guys for listening.
See ya. This has been the Bell Ringers podcast on Philly Sports Reports, brought to you by SeatGeek. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Philly Sports Reports wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Follow the podcast on X and PSR on all social media. Also, consider leaving a review. Catch Colin and Benjamin's writing on PhillySportsReports.com, along with following both on X. Thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring the show.